secret after secret after secret is beyond me, the same way that Trump would too if he were flattered enough. And again, it's just bizarre how we're dealing with foreign policy right now.
And it's just through grifts and gifts. Grifts and gifts will get you there. Thank you. So it wasn't just him coming in this season to try and woo Trump to love on the Saudis. The early foundation for a missile procurement for Saudi Arabia started in the 1980s. The Saudis' first major military step towards strategic delivery system occurred in the late 80s amid escalating regional tensions. The capital of Saudi Arabia secretly acquired a DF-3 intermediate-range ballistic missile from China. This marked the kingdom's first capability to project long-range strategic power, laying out the infrastructure for potentially non-conventional warhead deliveries. So we already know the Saudis, home of al-Qaeda, working with China, another adversarial nation to the United States, to create long-range missiles on the down low. It was around this time in the 80s that the Saudis first started trying to buy favor with Donald Trump as well. Trump's first known deal with the Saudis was in 1987 when he purchased a $29 million yacht that was commissioned by arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi, the cousin of slain Saudi American journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And in the 1990s, Trump sold the yacht and a portion of New York City's Plaza Hotel to the Saudi Prince bin Tal. Crown Prince MBS had Jamal Khashoggi killed, although he had Khashoggi killed for trying to expose secrets about the way that the Saudis were moving. And remember, this was the Washington Post journalist who was dismembered and just horribly, horribly treated. And it was a huge, huge deal. Trump thinks it's very rude to ask the prince about this event and flipped out at a recent Oval Office meeting where MBS was there when the press asked about him killing Khashoggi. And Trump said, why would you say that about this man? He's here being so nice and you want to bring up things that, like, we don't even know if that's true. And MBS was just sitting there like, yeah, we don't know if that's true. It's true. So that was the 1980s Trump and Saudi Arabia's first attempts to get them by procuring them illegally from China. From the 1990s to 2000, throughout the development of Pakistan's nuclear weapons programs, widespread geopolitical speculation suggested that a strategic understanding between Islamabad and the capital of Saudi Arabia. They are frequently indicating that Saudi Arabia provided crucial financial backing to Pakistan's nuclear program in exchange for tacit security guarantees, basically saying, hey, Pakistan, we notice that you're getting a nuclear weapons program. We'll give you the money for it, and maybe sometimes you'll let us use your nukes. How does that sound? Does that sound like a good idea? It's like, we're not really getting a nuclear program, but we're funding Pakistan's. And so obviously, since we bought it, even though our ball lives at your house, we're going to come over and play with it whenever we want. In the 2010s, Iran was advancing its domestic uranium enrichment capabilities. This is when the Obama joint resolution for Iran not having a nuclear program anymore started. And Saudi rhetoric was shifting. So following the Arab Spring and perceived U.S. disengagement from regional security commitments in the Middle East, the Saudi officials explicitly warned that if Iran acquired a nuclear weapon, Saudi Arabia would feel compelled to do the same. Crown Prince MBS reaffirmed this stance in 2018, stating that if Iran develops a nuclear bomb, Saudi Arabia would follow suit as quickly as possible. Now, Donald Trump was president at this time, and he said, well, Iran's not going to get a nuclear bomb, and you guys aren't either. But this is where he really started to sympathize with Saudi Arabia, feeling like, yeah, I guess it's no fair that my buddy that gave me 2 robes that are lined in white tiger fur would be subject to, like, maybe if Iran got a nuke, they could hit Saudi Arabia and they're going to let me put a hotel there. So maybe I should let Saudi Arabia get a nuke. And if he had become president in 2020, I think we would have seen this come up a little bit more quickly. But luckily, Biden became president, and that sort of passed away. So where we're at right now, present day with Saudi Arabia, is they know better than to ask for a nuclear missile. They know better than to ask for an atomic bomb. So instead, they are pursuing a form of civilian nuclear programs, saying we just want to do a little nuclear energy. We just want to talk a little bit about maybe enriching some uranium a little bit, just to see if we could do it, just to get those possibilities and capabilities in play in case the United States needed uranium. And Donald Trump, being the short-term thinker that he is going, This guy's my best friend. This is great. Then I wouldn't have to help Ukraine. Then I could get the enriched uranium from Saudi Arabia. They'll never double cross me. So yeah, let's let Saudi Arabia have an enrichment program. Let's let them have a civilian energy program. They're promising me that they wouldn't use all of that infrastructure to quickly be able to develop a nuclear bomb. They would just, like they promised, use it for energy and use it for the benefit of the United States, which they've proved they love us. They host WWE matches. They bought our golf tournament. They gave my son-in-law $2 billion. They've given my two sons hundreds of billions of dollars in commitments to buy stuff from them too. Why would they? That's the art of the deal, baby. We're wheeling and dealing. Everything's great. This is going to work out for America. This never works out for us. This will never work out for us. If Saudi Arabia is allowed to get a nuclear weapon, Iran will certainly want one as well. And when you have this many nuclear weapons floating around in the hands of men who make short-term decisions, are narcissistic, and also believe that they are gods that will inherit 28 virgins upon their death, I don't feel really all that confident about them developing nuclear weapons. If anything, I believe that we should be looking for nuclear disarmament across the world. Why should anybody have a nuclear weapon? Why should any one country have the ability to destroy civilization as a whole? That's not very Zeus's law of us. So that's where we're at right now. There are diplomatic engagements regarding national security frameworks. Saudi Arabia has sought formal U.S. security guarantees akin to NATO-style mutual defense compacts. Basically, they want our military to guard the facilities they want to build to make nuclear energy and civilian nuclear programs. I don't know one person who signs up for the United States military and says it's my dream to defend the oil fields of Venezuela or the nuclear energy facilities of Saudi Arabia. I think we have fully lost the plot on this, but Trump seems to have made that choice for everyone and is enthusiastically greenlighting his very wealthy, very generous best friend MBS's nuclear ambitions. We might even help them build it. So that's the explainer on what's going on with the Saudi Arabia nuclear mission. His thing today is saying that it is contingent on the Saudis normalizing relations with Israel is nonsense and just a way for him to buy himself a little bit of time so that he can backtrack, hopefully, on what he's done. As every member of the intelligence community, every member of the Republican Party even has said, Saudi Arabia is not getting a nuke. That's that. Switching over to some I have no segue, Lana. I have no segue from nuclear holocaust to what we've got next. All I have is a fun surprise for everybody. So I guess we'll just like rip the Band-Aid off of that's the bad news. Here's the good news. Anna DeShawn is back.
What a time, friends.
So this show will be interesting because the first half is one episode and this half is the next episode. So they won't actually be together when we repost them. So.
Good. Great.
Great. So everybody take a big deep breath if you're in the chat right now. And if you're how is the chat on TikTok and Instagram going, Lana? This is our intermission. Is everybody okay?
It's going well. I've been checking in with everyone on TikTok. They seem to be okay. We got rid of some bots, actual bots that were in the chat. And this chat's always great.
Okay. Breathe in, breathe deep. We're about to start part 2 of how this show will be posted tonight. So that's the end of part 1. I think I ended it with enough of a button, right? Where I'm like, we should be disarming. Yeah. This is behind the scenes with me and Lana right now, where I'm like, that was good. Okay, great. All right, moving on. So hello, friends, and welcome to Thursday, where we're going to do a little bit of good news, a little bit of gay news, and we have back for the second week in a row, family, Anna DeShawn. What's going on?
Family, I'm so glad to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad to be with you. Now, you are coming to us live from Chicago, which has got a lot of really cool stuff going on right now. Yes. Tell me what's happening in Chicago.
Child, the lesbians are happening in Chicago right now.
They are.
And I've literally... in all my queer years, and I've been queer for a long time, okay?
Yeah, professionally.
Professionally queer. And I know I don't look it, but Chile, over 40, okay? Come on. I've never seen lesbians descend upon Chicago the way they are this weekend.
Are they here for the Obama Presidential Center? What are they there for?
Absolutely not. Now, if they got a ticket, great. You're a winner. They are absolutely here for the WNBA All-Star Weekend. And when you get Lesbians and then like 90 plus events and mix that all up with SummertimeChi, yo, this is next level that no one should miss, truly.
Is there still time for us to get a ticket?
To what? To
Chicago? Is it just parties all weekend?
Yo, you can get a ticket to Chicago. Okay, there's plenty of ways to get to the city. Yeah. And what's incredible to me is that people are still planning events. And I think what's funny is people have a perception about Chicago. Let me just tell y'all, the city is absolutely huge. Okay. And so the fact that 90 plus events can be happening in the span of about 2.5 days, I think really gives people a sense for just how big the city is. And there is so much going on. We actually made a guide on our Substack. The whole thing is free, child. No paywall at all. I'm just like, y'all better go outside and figure it out.
This family Substack. Okay.
Yeah. queernewspod.substack.com. And it's pinned right at the top because there's family friendly fun. Okay. There's networking opportunities. Okay. There's of course the nightlife. Never have this many lesbian party promoters. Houston, Atlanta, New York, Cali said, oh, we come to Chicago to throw a party. And they're all here. One party's got over 900 lesbians RSVP'd. What? It is it is going to be a time. And the fact that the Stud Buds are back live streaming on Twitch, right? What will they see? I am just I'm thrilled that we get to live through this moment right now.
I'm very excited for this too because I like the WNBA. I'm into it. I watch, but I can't watch that. This is gonna be like when I said about Bernie Sanders. This is a hot take, guys. I don't like that Caitlin Clark girl. I don't think she plays good ball. I mean, take away like all of the personal problems that she has, but I don't find her to be that interesting a ball player. She's always flopping.
She flops, she whines. And you know, I think with her fame and money, child, it's just only gotten worse, right? Yeah, she's always been this way. As a basketball stan, okay, I was a season ticket holder for the Chicago Sky when you can get tickets for $10. Like, why am I doing this? Okay, I am a stan, and she has always been this way. Her dad would try to wrangle her, you know, in college, but she good and grown now. She good and grown with agents and deals, and it's only gotten worse. She's a great baller, like in terms of like she is. She scored the most points in WNBA history her rookie year. Right. I mean, she can hit a three with a step back and a crossover, child. You might lose yourself in it. There's no doubt about her talent.
She can't take a screen though. I'll tell you that. She might be a good shooter, but she can't defend or take a screen.
She's a flopper all day. Okay. But she has game. And honestly, Indiana,
she has game. We'll let her have game.
She will let her have game. And she's in the right place.
Yeah.
Her, from what I can see, her family's politics, she don't talk much. Okay. But we can only assume. Her family's politics, who she is, where she's from, she's in the right place. She's in Indiana. Okay. She's in the right place to thrive because anywhere else would not have it. But she's in the right spot for who she is.
Lana, what do you think about WWE weekend? Oh my God, WNBA weekend.
I think that's really exciting. I went to my first WNBA game last year and I was just stoked. I haven't been a sports person for a very long time. And I think it's been this year that I've been just really enamored with what sports can do when they're inclusive, when they're equitable, when you can go to, I mean, still, right? The WNBA tickets are still pretty accessible. Is that correct?
I mean, it depends on your income level.
Game. Yeah.
On accessibility. Ain't no $10, $15 tickets anymore.
They're not.
Right.
Those days are gone. Yeah, those days are gone. But are they as much as an NBA ticket? No, they aren't. Yeah.
All right. Well, And what I love is there's a couple lesbian sports bars out there too, and regular sports bars that are playing WNBA that become lesbian sports bars. So if you want to watch and be in community with other people, find out where in your town is playing these games, because I'm sure they're going to have them on the TVs, and there's going to be stuff happening locally outside Chicago as well. But if you are near one of the few remaining lesbian bars, make sure you check those out, because that's going to be a lit time. I mean, I think of like the Sports Bra and a league of her own in DC. Like there's going to be good parties out there.
Oh, the resurgence, right? I think about if y'all not familiar with the cruising podcast, right? That went around the country in their car to all the last remaining bars, lesbian bars, right? I feel like that was the beginning of people really noticing how we were losing spaces. Yeah. And then when Sports Bras showed up and just killed it, broke the records, showed that it's a viable business model, I feel like there has been a beautiful resurgence. And so the city of Chicago has been a benefit of that. So we've got Babe Sports Bar, fantastic. Some of my favorite lesbians. Okay. And they just redid their patio outside. They got a screen outside. They got audio outside. They got a bar outside. SummertimeChi. They got a whole lineup for us at Babes. We love them. And then there's Level Sporting Club, which is on the other side of the city in Wrigleyville, where the Cubs do their thing and where all the white bros live. Okay. And it's not an area, that I'm going to go party at all. But Level is disrupting the entire block, being a lesbian-owned women's sports bar in Wrigleyville. They're disrupting the whole vibe, and I love it. And it's also run by women of color. The owner, Clarissa, is Latina. The whole investment group are Black and brown women. Okay. And child, they got these crab rangoon mozzarella sticks. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, it sounds weird. I know it sounds weird.
No, it sounds delicious.
It is freaking delicious. I don't want to even tell you how many I had during the opening. Okay.
No, and as many as you can get. As many as you can get.
And I did. They kept walking around and I kept grabbing them. And we're actually there tonight. I'm co-hosting a trivia night with my homie Shana of the Bad Queers podcast, because we love Bad Queers. And so we're doing a WNBA trivia night tonight. It's the first trivia night Level is hosting. And we got history questions. We got it's so fun. Queer questions. It's gonna be a good time. We got prizes. So if you're getting into the city, not sure what you want to do, come up to Level, have fun with us tonight.
I love it. Moving out of Chicago into other cool stuff that's queer and happening around the world. I have predominantly lived in queer spaces within Black majority cities. Like I live in Rochester now. I lived in Baltimore. I lived in Washington, D.C. These are predominantly Black cities with very dynamic queer spaces. And oftentimes when we're talking about queer stuff that goes on, they bring up New York and like, they're my people, but it's a bunch of white folks in polos and whatnot. But something very cool happened in DC, which was that DC will be getting their very first official mayor's office of LGBTQ affairs and providing local organizations with services for the LGBTQ community. Can you talk just a little bit about what happens when Black queer people are put in charge of the community programs? Because not everybody's been able to benefit like I have, living in Baltimore and seeing it firsthand. It's different. What can people in DC get excited about?
The opportunity, right? Yeah. For everybody to win. I've had the pleasure of being able to work with Capital Pride in DC. Yeah. And Black Pride in DC is the oldest Black Pride. All right. And they set the tone and set the standard. And even as I look at this picture, I'm seeing June, I'm seeing Jasper, I'm seeing the icon herself, Racine, right? There is rich history and future for queer folks in DC. And when Black people, and especially Black women, get an opportunity to lead, they are always thinking about the most marginalized among us. And we know what happens when we take care of the most marginalized. Everybody wins. Everybody's life is better when the most marginalized can be taken good care of, right? And so the fact that they're getting the office, they're getting the budget, I think this is following suit of so many other major cities who have said, yes, we are investing in queer folks, right? So here in the city of Chicago, we appointed the first director of LGBTQ affairs here in the city. And when Antonio King was appointed, right, he had the highest level of any LGBTQ official in the country. And that was just a few months ago. Then New York came around and did the same thing, right? We love to see it. Yes. And now DC is doing it. And we need this trend to continue. It's so vitally important. And I think what's unfortunate is that this only happens when evil is so pervasive. It only happens when we feel like there's a need, when I know there's always been a need. But when someone as hateful as Trump and his administration get into office, I believe that's when people's awareness is heightened, that maybe we do need to double down, when I've always felt like we need to be tripling down anyway. So I think it's a wonderful move.
Very cool. Lana, anything to add on that?
Yeah, no, I think it's really a beautiful thing when we, and in this time when as soon as Trump was elected, we saw this incredible pullback of support on LGBTQ plus communities because of Trump's pointing the finger at DEI, which I know we'll probably talk about in a little bit with HIV funding, but everything is being pigeonholed into this grouping, and it's really just about telling people what their humanity is. When we see these departments open up, it reminds us that we are being seen, that we are being fought for, and I think also too, like when blue cities have the capacity to lead, they will see a domino effect with other cities. So that part alone is very exciting to me.
There's this, I don't go to like anything because I always got to ask first. I'm like, well, who else is going to be there? Because I need to know. So when I go to anything and I know that especially Black women will be there, I'm like, this is going to be a good party. Now I'm going to come because I know it's going to be thoughtful. There's going to be no nonsense allowed. There's going to be no clicking allowed. Everybody's got to talk to everybody else. And those are the ones that I go to. And that's why I love living up here in Rochester, because most of our queer organization is Black led. So it's like, it just, to your point, when the most marginalized people are put in charge of planning the event, they just, by the nature of not wanting anybody else to feel marginalized or less than or not included, it's built into the bone marrow of every event that's done, so that there is space and thought for people. You find that there's better disability accommodations at Black-led events. There's better security at Black-led events. There's better community because they put like their own people on it. It's not like a bunch of cops lining the parade route. It's like a bunch of people who are like, I'm going to be on the security today. I'm going to be on the welcome today. People want to raise their hand and say yes. And I'm just so excited to see that out there and working for folks. Another thing I was excited to see was Pete Hegseth pouting. So this man is in trouble because he tried to kick all the trans people out of the military, saying somehow trans people are both just way too strong and scary and dominant. They're monster hulks who can't control their strength, and also not strong enough to be in the United States military. And because they take hormone replacement therapy, really not battle ready, really can't guarantee that I could get you your T in the field, really can't guarantee I could get you your HRT in the field. Suddenly, this boy comes forward and is like, no, actually, I want to test everybody's T, and I want to give everybody T, and I'm going to make the taxpayer pay for it, and I'm gonna juice them up. Well, a U.S. District Judge, Anna Reyes in Washington, raised the question in an ongoing lawsuit against President Donald Trump's ban on transgender troops, asking if the armed forces must adhere to high mental and physical health standards without the benefit of routine medical treatment or special provisions, how do you expect them to actually be battle ready? And the similarities and differences to administering TRT, both medically and logistically for trans men compared to other service members, including cis individuals, is the same. If you are trying to give a trans man access to their T, that is the same process and cost as giving it to a cis man. So you have to give it to both, Heggie, and he was sad.
And that's what equality is, right? But also, I think it's important to bring up, like, the reason that testosterone is a controlled substance is because men abuse it, like to cheat in sports. Like in the games that they're so worried about, like trans women being like, it's just, it's so clearly a machination, a dream, a dumpster fire fantasy about who is what, and it's all just a load of crap so that men can be on top.
Right.
The hypocrisy is exhausting. Can we just talk about the hypocrisy of it all?
Yes.
You know, it really is exhausting. And as someone who has benefited from gender affirming care, okay, I understand just a small sliver of what trans folks experience. You know what I'm saying? As a lesbian who grew up with too many titties. Do you know the lesbians who have too many titties? Okay, it is like God.
I was one of them. Yes.
Okay, it's like God.
I was like, oh, you like boobs? I'm going to give you double what the average woman's going to have.
Do you understand? I wanted to gift my boobs to all the ladies. Okay, you can have.
First of all, my poor sister, flat as a board. Me, triple double D.
You know what I'm saying? Like, God's sense of humor is not funny all the time. Okay, no. And it's somebody who's like, these don't belong to me. Yeah, and I was able to get rid of them. Yes, you know, my doctor asking me, Anna, what size? Softball, tennis ball, golf ball, please. Yeah. Golf ball. Yeah. Okay.
See, I said none. Let's talk about our gender affirming surgery, because I think that people are always so scared of it, and I think it's so taboo and weird. I've had my top surgery done 3 times. The first time was in Florida when I was much younger, and the doctor convinced me to just get a breast reduction. He's like, you're too young to decide. And I was like, all right, whatever. The second time it was completely botched, and I thought my nipple was like down here. It was awful. Oh, no. And I thought, I'm screwed. And then on TikTok, I found Dr. Gallagher, who could do revisions, which I didn't even know was possible. And I went to her, and she was like, okay, tell me what you want. And I was like, well, I just want to look normal. And she's like, okay, but what does normal to you mean? Draw it for me. And I was like, okay. And I wanted like the little Ken doll cuts on the side. Because I mean, I don't know how many of us little lesbians look at Ken chest. And I was like, man, that looks good. That's what I want. I want little on the side and no nipples. And she was like, okay, great, bet, and did it. And I was like, perfect. Beautiful. This is wonderful. But it is this odd thing where even my mom was worried about me getting it, because she's like, I just think you're going to look, I don't know if you're going to look right. Like, are you going to look crazy? Like, is it going to be weird? And I was like, I don't know, but I think this is what I want. And we took the Band-Aids off, and she goes, oh my God, yeah, you look like yourself. You look exactly like what you should look like. And I was like, that was the nicest thing that woman ever said to me in my whole life.
Yeah. You know, moms always know. My mom was like, when I told her,
my goal was, today is my goal. I wanted to wear a white t-shirt, no nips. I was like, that's all I wanted. I wanted to be able to wear a white t-shirt and not have any kind of chest perceived.
See, I love it. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
And then I was done. That was my gender journey. That's enough.
It's enough. And I love that you had the opportunity to have a gender journey, right? A gender affirming journey. And when I told my mom, she's like, what, you want to be a boy? I was like, no. I was like, I just don't want these titties. She's like, oh yeah, you never really liked them.
That was the thing. My mom was like, oh, are you trans? And I was like, no, I don't think so. But I also didn't want to offend trans people, because I was like, no, it's part of the community, but I don't have the goal to go all the way. I don't feel like I'm in the wrong body. I just feel like I don't want these titties. She was like, okay, great.
That was really it. And the moment I didn't have to wear a binder anymore, right? The moment I could release, threw them away. The moment I didn't have to wear a bra every time I went outside. And truly the moment I was able to buy me a button-down shirt that fit me and it felt good, child. And that's what I mean about this understanding of a little sliver of what trans folks feel like. Yeah. Right. And just how critical it was. I knew from such an early age that those things weren't for me. Yeah. Right. And so this idea that somehow I'm too young to understand. Right. It's just a complete farce. It's a complete lie. And it's just, they only take this position because it's an easy win, political win, not because they really care about women's sports at all. They could care less about women's sports. And the hypocrisy around testosterone in the military is just disgusting. And it just makes me even more exhausted about this administration. I cannot wait till this moment in our lives is over. I know. Okay. We only got a little bit more time, family. Just a little bit more. A
little bit more time. And also I can't wait till we're able to they have so much money for media and misinformation surrounding trans people. I knew when I was 8 that I didn't want to develop like a woman. I knew that I didn't want to have children. I knew that the things that I was learning about what being a woman meant felt very, very foreign to me. And I didn't know I was gay because I was 8. I didn't have a sexuality at 8, but I knew what I wanted to look like and what felt comfortable to me. And gender affirming care at 8 looked like baseball caps and jeans. At 15, it looked like double sports bras and having a little short haircut and being sporty. At 22, it looked like a breast reduction. At 35, it looked like top surgery. It's different throughout. And these people on the other side who are so ignorant want to flatten it to 8-year-olds want genital surgery. And it's like 8-year-olds don't. 8-year-olds, no. If you could do anything kind for a child like me, right, it would be to not force them to go through a puberty that will just be so humiliating, is really what it was, than anything else. And that's all we're trying to do, is not humiliate children into hurting themselves or hating themselves. That's it. That's what gender affirming care looks like at 8, 10, 15.
Absolutely.
That was really the case for me. Be very similarly, I was skateboarding and just dressing in skateboard clothes and like becoming, and I was wearing everyone's clothes in my family, my father's, my mom's, my brother's, I was wearing everyone's clothes, and I was always too small for it all. So I was like, I don't understand why it doesn't fit. I think I thought I was like a giant, Well,
you have a twin brother too, right? So you were like, what the hell's going on with us?
Why is it like this? But, gender is a journey, and it's always shifting. I just was reading a piece by someone who's, like, I'm not non-binary and my gender's flowing because our genders or the gender diversity that we do have the capacity to hold has been around forever. So these words are what's new. These words are very new comparatively to the genders and sexualities and the diversity that we hold within us. So just a point to bring out.
Do y'all remember when the kids came up with the they, them pronouns? And I was like, girl, I've been using those forever. I've been constantly describing my girlfriends as they are coming over. It wasn't a non-binary thing. It was like sort of trying to hide the female pronoun thing. But I remember hearing that and being like, ooh, that's a good one. Because it almost feels like harm reduction in the way that, like, I just, you could just sort of smooth over it without hearing she, her. You just sort of go right past it. And it was like, oh, good. It was one less time to be called ma'am or something. I don't know. I remember thinking that was like the best thing.
Yeah. One of the best things for me growing up, my dad and I had the same initials. And my family loves to dress. Okay. And so he would get his initials embroidered on his shirts. And so as a kid, I would go into his closet and put on his shirts, and they would let me wear this to church. Now, my mom grew up in a small town in Mound Bayou, Mississippi. And it's called Mound Bayou, Mississippi. He had one stoplight growing up, Kojic, wear dresses. I was under strict rules. Okay. And so, and then at one point she just gave up. Like, forget it.
My mom too. One Christmas she bought me and my brother the same presents instead of me and my sister, and was like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of doing these returns. You and PJ have the same, fine. You guys like the same t-shirt. You like the same band. I just bought 2 of that instead of 2 of the thing you usually get you and your sister. And I was like, good job, Maureen.
Yep. 100%.
Simple as that.
It was just that simple. My dad took me to the Mr. Shop one time. So the NAACP is also in Chicago right now. And I used to participate. I used to play instruments and all those other good things. And I was in AXO, which is a wonderful program the NAACP puts on. And I played saxophone. I made it to the finals. I was going to be on television. And I was like, oh, I need a new outfit. And my mom was like, just go with your dad. Well, my dad took me to the Mr. Shop to get a suit. Y'all, I left out of there with a gray suit with shoulder pads. Okay, I had suspenders. It was tailored, and I walked in. My mom said, "What did y'all do? What did y'all do?" I said, "This is what we got." I think at that point she had really given up, but it was the most affirming thing on the planet to go to this male suit shop with my dad, get tailored for this suit, and I have a picture of me in it, and it's just a reminder that, yeah, kid, you always been like this. You always knew.
Go ahead, V.
The first time that I really learned how to dress and got the haircut that I wanted was a black barber and a black men's suit shop, because for it, again, much more accepting. And I was in Baltimore, so it made sense. But it was like, you go into the men's warehouse or something, and those dudes are like, ew. You walk in somewhere and they're like, ooh, I got a Stacey Adams shoe for you. You're going to love this. Oh, you want something flashy, little white girl? Like, yes, let me get you these 2 tones. Let me show you how we tailor this way. Let me put the initials on the thing. And I remember similarly thinking that, like, this is the greatest thing. And they had so many colors of suits. Because again, when you go to if I were to go with my dad, your choices are like gray, black, or blue. And when you go to the Mister's shop in Baltimore, it was emerald green, purple, pink. You could have cool shoes. You could have bling on it. And I was like, felt much more like what I would want in terms of it not being a man's suit, but a suit that a man made for me. And I just hope more people have that opportunity. And the black barbers were funny because I was like, it was the only barbershop like that I knew of that I could go to. And he was like, you want me to cut your hair? I was like, yeah, because I want like the fade. And at that time I wanted the line. Okay. And he was like, we don't really do white boy hair in here, but you're here at 8:30 in the morning. So I'll go ahead and I'll give it a try for you. And then he would let me come like every day at 8:30 and I'd be out by 8:45. And he had a parrot he kept in the shop that was like the most amazing thing ever. But anybody who thinks I'm cool, have good culture or anything, it is because of the kindness of older black people with me.
I love that. Yeah. I love that.
Lana, when did you get your first haircut? When did you know what was going on?
I got my first haircut, I think when I was like, 13, maybe something like that. I was, my mom and my family sort of were projecting like femininity onto me. And, I was going to ask like how it felt to put on these suits that fit you at these ages, because like, I didn't fit in a lot of things. So I would go try things on. I was like, I guess I just didn't think that anything was meant for me to wear. So when I got older, more so in my 20s, my partner introduced me to eBay.
Yep.
I just found like a lot of I just found things I couldn't find elsewhere that I could tailor. Now that I live in the city, it's much easier for me to find things. But yeah, the haircut was just the start, and I cut my own hair for so many years because
we all learn how to do it ourselves.
Yeah. So.
Not you. No.
I try not to cut my hair.
You come from a care community. We were stuck with going to my mom's salon and having like Melissa try to give me a boy's haircut. That was just going to end up looking like John and Kate +8 or something.
We don't want that for you. I never thought about eBay. That's so interesting. I grew up going to this hair salon with my mom every 2 weeks. Like clockwork, and trying to find the styles that worked for me. Eventually, I started twisting my own hair, and then I was like, "Girl, just lock this thing." And I haven't. I think I'm on year 16 with my locks. And child, it's hot now. It's summertime, child. These things got to be up off my head. But then when I went to get married, we'll be married 10 years next year. I was like, I'm gonna get an undercut, and so I cut half of these things off, and I was like, oh, this is the beginning. I don't know when I'm going to cut the rest of my hair off.
It's very freeing though. Yeah.
I've heard. We'll see. They tell me you'll know when you know time to cut the locks off. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Very good. Well, we were supposed to talk about Trump defunding HIV, but I feel like now that we've had this healing session, we should save that for next week. Because
I agree.
Because the horrors will be there next week, okay? And I feel like we've just had a little, Big Chop changed everything for me. It's so many people in the chat sharing your own stories. I appreciate that so much. Black men's suits shops are the only place I could find French cuffs, correct, and a cufflink selection, correct. Now, if you go in there, act right, tip well. Yeah, don't ruin this, okay?
That part.
There was one time, AB, who is I Am Legally Hype on all the channels, I was really, really sick. And she's like, I'm going to give you something, but don't be telling all the white people about this. And I was like, okay. And she gave me this like Jamaican sea moss that was really, really helpful at helping me feel better. And she's like, because we told you all about oxtails and now we can't get them anywhere because you all want all of our food. You want all of our stuff. And then you want to ruin our lives. So I'm going to give this to you to make you feel better, but don't be telling everybody about this. And it's like, okay, I got you.
My wife is so protective about all the things. She's like, don't you share that. And that it's not for the podcast. Okay. I get disclaimers all the time because I'm just out here sharing. And she's like,
no. Because they're going to steal it. Now I've said Stacey Adams shoes. Y'all are going to be going. Now you're going to know where I get my cool stuff from.
My word. Y'all ain't ready for the
Stacey Adams makes a hell of a shoe. No,
it is.
You got to have confidence. That's a slippery shoe too. You got to get resold and everything.
It's perfect for stepping. Okay, I'm in Chicago. Stacey, that's what you need. You got to be able.
I'm going to come to your purple tie event that's coming up in this October. I'm going to come to it, and I'm going to come dressed, and they're going to be like, "Oh, I didn't know."
Let's go, V. Let's go. It is a time. We come ready.
Thank you all for being with me today. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you all for sticking with us through the very difficult news that we had at the top. I hope that the explainer helps you feel more confident and educated on it and what's true and what's not. Sometimes we've got to talk about scary stuff so that we don't have to be scared of it. We can understand it. And thank you, Anna and Lana, for coming and sharing your stories and vulnerabilities and helping people in the chat just process a little bit of their feelings too. It's not something that gets talked about a lot. What does gender affirming care look like for different ages?
Yeah.
I'm still figuring it out. Yeah,
me too. I think it's going to look different every generation. Like as you get older, we change, we evolve, we find more of ourselves in all of this. And I think it looks different, and kids deserve the opportunity to experience that.
They do. Yeah, they do. Figure it out. I mean, you let your kids have all kinds of phases. You might as well accept that at 8 years old, if your daughter only ever wants to wear dresses and her favorite color is pink, then that's probably true. And if your other daughter only ever wants to wear jeans and white t-shirts, that's probably also true. Like children do have preferences and agency, and they'll tell you what they feel comfortable in and what they want. And we should trust them. So
we should trust.
Yay. Trust your kids. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
Later.